The number one block that prevents business owners from getting on YouTube and using it to 10x their growth in sales is that they think they are not good at talking to camera. So I want to introduce you to a way that makes speaking on YouTube 10 times easier whilst maintaining your authenticity and not relying on a teleprompter. I made videos using this method that helped me almost 10x my sales last month, and it works because it allows you to deliver insane value whilst building real trust and connection with your audience, which is basically the formula for business growth on YouTube. So speaking on YouTube to grow your business can be boiled down to three components. You've got the who, which is your avatar and their pain that they're currently in and the dream or desire that they have, which is what your business helps them get towards. That is the who, that is your YouTube audience, which can be summarized with the phrase who you're talking to and why they're listening. Then you've got the what. This is your video plan. This is how you actually structure your information and which information you choose to include. And then you've got the how, which is how do you actually present? How do you come across? How do you talk, right? When you develop those three skills in tandem with each other, you can start getting insane results like my client Tim got. This is how he talked before he learned these three skills.
Talking to camera seems, it's always felt off to me. Getting my energy, my humanness to communicate across camera has been a huge stumbling block for me.
And this is how he talks after.
Most brands don't deserve attention. They're loud but forgettable. You see, attention isn't random. It isn't luck. There's a reason people scroll past some brands and then stop dead on others.
Good on you, Tim. The problem though is that if you're starting on YouTube, these three skills are going to feel pretty difficult. And it'll be like juggling three things together if you don't even know how to juggle. And worse, you're actually juggling misshapen dumbbells and a camera light weight because I don't have another dumbbell. And it's like, this one feels really heavy because I don't know how to do it. This is the what. And then the who, I'm not quite sure who exactly I'm talking to. And then the how, and then you press record and everything just falls apart. That was uncomfortable. And this is why people try this once and then buy a teleprompter, because they think, I can't think of all these things at the same time, so I'm just gonna have my teleprompter in front of me and then just be reading the words off the teleprompter in front of the camera, which causes a problem. So whilst this isolates the how and allows you just to focus on the how, the problem is that it's hard to build connection with somebody who just feels like they're reading words off a script, and it's very easy to sound robotic when you're reading off a teleprompter. It usually takes a lot of experience to be able to read from a teleprompter naturally, and even then, you haven't actually developed any speaking ability. You're still just hiding behind a teleprompter. You actually don't know how to speak your thoughts fluently to camera, which can feel like a bit of a weakness to a lot of creators. So what if there was a better way? Well, there is, and it's called slides. It's what I'm doing right now. I have a slideshow on my laptop and I'm just presenting from it like I was in school. Now, slides are awesome for business owners on YouTube because you can have your structure in place, so you've got your what taken care of, right? This also gives you room to express yourself. You're not just reading stuff off a teleprompter the whole time. You have your points, but you can talk around your points, which is like presenting 101. It's also written directly to your avatar. You can spend some time making this really appeal to your ICP. You don't have to remember everything you say because you've got all of your structure in front of you. You've also got the visuals in front of you, which allows you to actually see how your end video would actually look whilst you're making it, instead of relying on an editor to just spruce things up in a way that you can't necessarily imagine in your head right now. And you can focus on the how and have fun with it, which is really important to build a big connection with your audience. So big shout out to the business owner and YouTuber Dea, who I got this idea from. I didn't actually know she was doing this in her videos until I interviewed her, and she told me she was presenting on slides, and it blew my mind. So this is really exciting. I think it's gonna give you a breakthrough. But before we get on to how to present on YouTube using slides, I need to give a little bit of context about what's happening on YouTube and why this feels so icky for a lot of business owners to actually start putting themselves out there. And the big trap that entrepreneurs fall into is trying to be like this. So you'll come onto YouTube and you'll see creators like this, and it looks intimidating. It looks like everyone's trying to fight you. I go on YouTube and I'm like, why is everyone trying to fight me? People telling me to not be nice, I need to get rich as fuck, I need to be jacked, I need to have Netflix level production value and quality. And what happens if you're new to YouTube? You start imagining your face on these videos and thinking two things. One, how am I ever gonna make videos like that? That feels super intimidating, so I'm just never gonna start. And two, if I see myself in this situation and putting my face on these kind of thumbnails and titles, it just doesn't feel like me, so I'm just never gonna do it. But this is a trap. You need to stop trying to copy highly resourced and highly experienced creators. These creators have years of experience and huge budgets and huge teams for their YouTube content, and they are going mass market, mass appeal to everyone. This is not a good strategy for somebody who has limited skills, and they are just skills. I'm not saying you're bad at this, they're just skills you need to learn, but right now your skills might be pretty limited. You cannot compete with those people, and that's a good thing. Instead, you need to start messy, start niche, and start small. This will allow you to target a specific avatar with a specific problem and be the go-to person for them. And the funny thing is, if you look at these top creators now, go back to their oldest videos, and you'll realize that they started in this exact same way. He was going very niche to gym owners. He was starting extremely messy, looking like he was recording in 240p on a webcam or something. No lighting. I don't think there was even a microphone here. He was purely focusing on his message and his presenting style, which is what pulled the lever for him at the beginning to get that leverage and start being able to build a team. Hormozi had an unfair advantage here because he was highly experienced in sales and he'd already given a lot of presentations on stage. And so that was naturally starting to transmit into his YouTube videos. But that doesn't mean that you need that experience to start YouTube. You can just learn how to talk to camera in a way that delivers your message with big value, builds a lot of trust and connection with your audience, and not really focus on much else. And that will be the building block for how you get started on YouTube. And you might be thinking, yeah, okay, I could do that, but I'd probably only get like 500 views a video or 1,000 views per video. Obviously, I'm not gonna get millions of views if I don't have this big production quality, right? But you don't need millions of views as a business owner. 500 views can potentially mean a $10,000 or $50,000 client, depending on which business you have, right? A mentor of mine, a guy called Ollie Richards, he has a multi-million online education business, and he's just started a new business where he's mentoring business owners. And I had lunch with him the other day out by the beach in rainy England, and he told me that he was making $1 million per year with this new mentoring business, and that 2/3 of his clients could be attributed to his YouTube channel. So that's like $600,000 a year from less than 500 views per video. Ollie's a mentor of mine and one of his clients, and one of my clients, Guy, experienced a similar thing. He came to me really frustrated at talking to camera. It took him like a whole day to record a 30-second reel for LinkedIn, and now he's able to shoot 4 videos for LinkedIn in less than 30 minutes. And one of those videos brought in a $50,000 client, like from one video. So that's the power of knowing how to speak on camera, delivering genuine value, building trust and connection with your audience, and having the right people watch that. It can literally 10x your business. So using slides or even just like sharing your screen and walking somebody through a process, it allows you to just be yourself and not overhype and not try to live up to those shiny expectations that you're like, oh, I wish I could be like these YouTubers or something. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna be myself and I'm just gonna share my slides, share my screen and not hype anything up. I'm gonna present cool information. Like, here's how you get the results. Like, I've put together this cool slideshow that's gonna help people and I wanna share it with you. And you can get clients just by showing people that you can help them in delivering value. And if you want to learn how to plan out your videos effectively, whether it's using slides or just purely talking to camera, I have an anti-script template below that allows you to plan your videos effectively in a way that builds trust, delivers value, and gets you clients without using a script and relying on a teleprompter. It's called the anti-script in the description below. So now we've isolated the how. So you've got your slides, you've planned out your video. So let's focus on that. Let's focus on the how, because this is what you're going to be doing when you are actually presenting to camera. And if you don't have this first thing locked in, you will never actually do this. You'll watch this video and then be like, cool, that was a fun video and I learned something, and then just literally not do this. And this is having an iterative mindset. And when I say starting messy, I actually mean starting messy. This is about just actually getting started on YouTube. If you try to come in at the top, you will likely never do it. Instead, starting messy and be like, cool, I'm gonna literally have fun making version 1 and put that version 1 out there. Then for my next video, I'm gonna make like a 1.1 iteration to make that a bit better. And then the next week, a 1.2. But having fun doing it. If you try and go in with a version 10, when you haven't even made version 1 yet, you're gonna have a horrible time doing it and you probably never put it out there. So get really process oriented, start messy, and start enjoying your process. If I had to boil YouTube for entrepreneurs down into 2 components, it would be this: trust and connection and value, despite the mess. So people don't really care about the mess. What they care about is that connection and the value that you bring. So you've got to ask yourself, when it comes to trust and connection, what makes you unique? What makes you actually you? Like, what makes you different from other people? Whatever that is, lean into it. Be more of that. And it's likely going to make you slightly weird, and you might be self-conscious that if you are really yourself, that's going to be a weird version of yourself and people aren't going to like it. But my client Erin talked about this in one of her videos she posted for feedback. She was making $50,000 a year. She then started embracing her weird and just being more and more herself and really leaning into that. And she jumped to $300,000 a year. And she attributes embracing her weird as the main factor that caused this. So how do you make people not fall asleep when watching your slideshow presentation? I want to introduce you to a concept called energy levers. So what I found is that when my clients got feedback of like, have more energy, what often would happen is that they just like try to ramp up their energy and just try and be this energetic person, and it just came across as really inauthentic. Because when you start trying, you get further and further away from yourself, because being you is essentially effortless. So instead of just saying, have more energy, I broke it down into 4 energy levers that you can pull to get more energetic whilst maintaining authenticity, which is really important. So the first one is volume. So I can just be speaking in this volume at the same pace, but if I just increase my volume and still speak at the same pace, it sounds more energetic, right? So that can be one to pull, especially if you're speaking more quietly. If you don't want to do that because you're already speaking at a perfectly good volume, or that's just not you and you have a quiet voice, and that's absolutely fine, the next thing is hand gestures. So I can use my hand gestures to either have this amount of energy, or I can use my hand gestures to have this amount of energy. And I'm not actually doing anything else other than moving my hands, and it's just making my whole presentation seem way more energetic. The next thing is pacing. So you can have a very slow paced video, which will feel less energetic. Or you can not change anything else about how you talk, you just talk a lot faster and it's gonna have a lot more energy to it. And then finally we have energy focus. So this is a lever you can pull. Let's say that your energy is naturally a little bit scattered and you sort of like to present like this. You maybe find a hard time looking at the camera and you're sort of all over the place with your energy. This can be a good thing. It can be quite engaging, but it's kind of hard to pull off. So instead, if you just focus your energy onto the camera and imagine a beam of your energy just going bam, right there into the camera and focus it all in, your energy will actually increase because you're putting it more towards the lens, like right into the eyes, right into the soul of your audience. And this is something you can choose. You can, maybe if you feel like you're really intense, you can sort of start getting a bit more scattered, but I personally like to beam it in a little bit more. I find it gives it that punchiness that makes it more compelling. And what these 4 energy levers will give you is excitement. And once you've made your slides, like you should be pumped. You've got your slideshow ready, you've got it in front of you, you've put together something cool. You're like, this is actually gonna help people. This is kind of a new thing that people might not have seen before, or at least I've put the information in a new way that just feels really good. And I know that if the right person watches this video, it's really gonna help them out. So I'm pumped to actually share this on YouTube, right? Enthusiasm is the ultimate retention hack. Think about the first 10 seconds of your video. Even if you're not like super extrovertedly enthusiastic, even if you've just got that enthusiasm bubbling away beneath the surface, it communicates to your audience, I've got some crazy shit to share with you. Like, this is gonna be really cool. And you're basically telling them, you should stay and watch this video without you having to actually say like, wait till the end. This is such a key difference compared to somebody who is just churning out another video because it's on their weekly content calendar and they're like, yeah, I think this video is pretty good, but I don't know, it's probably been said before and like, I don't know if it's actually gonna help anyone. If you have that frame of mind, no matter how much you try and pump yourself up, your audience is not dumb, they will tell the difference. And I just wanna leave you with a couple of exercises that have been working really well for my clients. This is charisma filtrated, okay? If you just sort of filtrated it into its essence. Own your space. When people record on camera for the first time, or if they haven't done it that much, it often feels like the camera is like here. Like the energy of the camera is like invading your space, and you sort of feel like it makes you sort of meek and timid and a bit like deer in the headlights, right? So, in this video, right? And so what I want you to do is imagine that you have almost like a bubble of energy around you. So you got this bubble of energy, and feel it like really close to you. Like imagine if somebody like came into your space, you'd sort of let them, because your bubble's here, they can come here, and it's like you sort of got like no boundaries, and you're sort of letting everyone encroach on your space, and you're sort of being meek and hiding away, and you're not taking up space. And now do the opposite. So now getting that bubble, and imagine just pushing that out to the 4 walls of your room. So it literally just touches every single wall of your room. And imagine that this is your space. So you have all the space to just move around in. Oh, take up the space physically with your arms, make your body bigger, take up that space, and especially push that energy right behind the camera. So this doesn't mean that you have to be a dickhead on camera and you're like doing this on camera and being like, yeah, I own this space. It's just doing that before you record. And then once you press record, you might just feel slightly more comfortable. You just feel like, yeah, actually, this is my space. I can lean in if I want. I can go back. I can move around wherever I want. That's such an important element of being charismatic, is owning your own space. Finally, just have fun with this. Like, I'm not saying like, have fun with it. It's like, actually have fun. This is critical advice. This is the key to actually building trust with your audience. If you have fun making your content, people are gonna wanna watch it. If you clearly are not enjoying your content because you genuinely don't, it's gonna be very hard for people to get through. So just have fun making your content. And then this is also really important for you to keep going. This is not just me trying to give you good vibes. Actually find a way to make this 10 or 20% more fun when you do it. If you lean into that intention of just having fun making version 1, then having fun making version 1.1, you will stay consistent, which is the key for growing a YouTube channel that actually 10x's your business for entrepreneurs. As I said, feel free to download the free anti-script planning template in the description below. And if you want to experience a fundamental shift that underpins the entirety of speaking to camera and speaking in general, watch this video next.